At this defense, it's actually like kind of cool, just like kind of watching him just like defend. He's doing surprisingly well on round 35, and the ramping at this point is absolutely insane. No reason I'm able to pop any of the Moabs at this point is simply just because main Moab and Ice Impale just stun and slow and say no to everything. He's even like tech terroring in the back, which is again pretty nice to see. It does make me want to use Super Monkeys, but I guess coming up with a strategy that utilizes Super Monkeys is kind of hard, seeing as Super Monkeys are definitely late game tower. If I had to pick one tower that just excels only at late game, well, not really only at late game, but it would definitely be Super Monkey. I decided to balloon boost on his side simply just because, you know, that badge still hasn't popped and he is struggling just kind of a bit. He's buying or selling Tech Terror, and of course he can't really do that indefinitely. So I assume that, you know, at this point he's out of money, seeing as, you know, I do believe he did sell some Dark Knights because he only has like a few Dark Knights there. It's like only 3 Permabrew Dark Knights and Master Bombers to defend up to around 37. I kind of doubt that, but who knows. But that was a really good game and kind of fun to see that strategy kind of play out. I'm definitely going to steal that in the future. But anyways, I want to show this match simply just because I wanted to show off what my opponent was doing rather than what I was doing. I didn't really do anything kind of special here. I was just kind of playing like laid back. I didn't really do too much this game. But I was just kind of watching my opponent and his strategy. His strategy right now, I'll just kind of spoil it, is Ninja Alk Super. And that's definitely late game strat if I've heard of one. You know, it's Magic Monkeys only, and arguably what I consider probably be the strongest, the 3, I guess, is kind of all around damage wise, the strongest towers we have in the game being, you know, both, you know, in my opinion, being Ninja Alk and then Super Monkey. And that's definitely late game strat if I heard of one. But I mean, it can work for mid game and early game, but I think it's where it shines is definitely, you know, late game, which you'll see here is pretty good late game. I genuinely think it could probably contend with the likes of, like, you know, Attack Guy's Village late game. Like, can't really be too sure about that, seeing I didn't really go Attack Guy's Village here, but this is kind of similar, so I guess it sorta does count. So it's kind of just watching my opponent here, getting up a sniper, trying to go for that supply drop as soon as possible. Seeing as, you know, at this point I was kind of assuming that, you know, he's probably going for Boat Elk Farm, and I haven't really played against, you know, Boat Elk Farm. It has, it is an interesting strategy that I've seen that can, like I said before, can probably contend against, you know, DFN, and like kind of for mid game and early game, but I haven't really seen those two strategies kind of, I guess, compete, so I'm not really 100% sure about that one. So skipping forward to when he actually rushes me for once, it's round 21. He's sending out just a regular BFB. I do wish I kind of bought that skin last season because I do like it. This is a pretty easy defense. At least Sniper can easily clean up, and all it did was just take, like, you know, an overdrive, an embrittlement, and attack sprayer, and I was easily able to end up beating that. And around 20, you know, Elite Sniper with, you know, being able to get away with that, I do think is pretty nice. He didn't really send me a ZOMG, which was quite interesting. I assumed that he was probably going to send me a ZOMG, but I figured, you know, after seeing that BFB defense, he probably figured that, you know, I can defend a ZOMG quite easily, seeing as I can just get, like, MAME or something, and still defend this quite nice. I wasn't really pressuring him too hard. I don't think like, up to this point, I think the only thing I really sent at him was just, like, a couple fortified Moabs, which, you know, hence, you know, why he has just a random sticky bomb there. I was just kind of, you know, just playing lazily. As, you know, again, seeing as, you know, he has Ninja, he could easily defend a, he could easily defend, like, he can easily defend a ZOMG. Sorry, I couldn't get the words out there. You know, seeing as, you know, he's Ninja. Ninja's pretty good against defending pretty much all types of balloons. Like I said in the previous episode, Ninja's, like, cracked all around. It pretty much is a tower that's just kind of like a master of pretty much everything. Early game, mid game, late game. If you can ask for a Ninja, can do it. I just decided to send him one just to, like, kind of delay his DT defense, you know, seeing as, you know, I can't really have him just, like, do almost, like, nothing. So just kind of just send him one ZOMG, not even fortified. I just figured, why not doing that while I'm getting up my snipers. But I also sent this to force out his third tower. As you've noticed, he's only used, like, 2 towers so far, Ninja and, of course, Alchemist. And so this did end up forcing him to use his third tower, which was Super. So that's when I look at this and I was like, dang, this is definitely going to be going late game, as, you know, Super Monkey, this strategy is definitely a late game strategy if I've ever seen one. And of course, I had to worry about DT defense on my own side, so just kind of preemptively getting up a Icicle Impale, sending as I worry about DTs in, you know, like, 1 round. And it's honestly kind of a surprise he's letting me get away with this defense. Like, this is the most bare bones defense, you know, I've, like, ever seen. I can't, like, at this point, they can't defend a ZOMG. Of course I can by just, like, buying some upgrades, but I have to, like, boost in order to defend it. And it would definitely be kind of a sketch defense, so it's kind of surprised he wasn't sending me anything. But I guess, you know, because, like, if you notice that this strategy is very expensive if you just take a look at it. Ninja, Alk, and Super Monkey. You know, of course, Super Monkey really does shine. Does have really only like one strong tier 3, which being Dark Knight. Really, it's the tier 4s of the other paths where, you know, Super Monkey does really shine. Temple, of course, for support, but seeing he doesn't have any support monkeys, he can't go for a support sacrifice. So that's kind of a rip on his part, but he does have the magic sacrifice, which is semi-decent. Then, of course, you know, Ninja is, I guess, kind of cheapish compared to the other options. Seeing as, you know, Grandmaster, not really that expensive. It's kind of like a mid-tier in terms of cost. And, you know, Grand Sabo, I don't really feel like is too useful, as you do have to predict when your opponent's about to rush you, which, again, may not always work. And then, you know, Alchemist, of course, is really expensive, you know, with BMA, Total Transformation, and, of course, Permabrew. That's a really expensive defense. So I was kind of wondering, you know, where is his eco at right now? Because, like, in order to defend, you know, Bad's late game, you do have to greed really hard, greed a lot of money. And, you know, it seems he did greed really hard, seeing as he's able to afford P-Brew on round 29. Of course, he did have to sell some towers for it, you know, just in preparation for the Bad. I figured that probably wasn't even worth rushing on round 30, seeing as, you know, it's P-Brew and he's heating up his Dark Knights. And I assume that, you know, Permabrew Dark Knights are be absolutely insane late game, which they are, which you'll see pretty shortly. This is definitely a pretty good late game strat. I wouldn't be surprised if we can keep up, you know, with like Tank Ice Village, you know, Heli Ice Village, all those late game strats that you see. It may not be as good as Supermine's late game, but I do think that this can definitely be a fun late game match. I would like to see, you know, kind of a competition between the two, seeing which one can outlast which, but maybe we'll in the future. Skipping over to round 34, I figured that's probably a good round to, I guess, you know, feel out his defense to see where it's at. So I sent a normal Bad just to kind of see, you know, what is it like looking like, and it's doing surprisingly well. He popped that pretty quickly, and he doesn't even have all of his defense up yet. He's still missing what it looks like to be Grandmaster Ninja. He still just has, you know, just Shinobis and of course Dark Knights running Master Bomber, but I do feel like, you know, maybe if you add Grandmaster, this would definitely be a lot better. It's not a fortified Bad just to see, you know, how good does a fortified Bad does. Double HP, I assume, will probably get pretty further, but needs to be know. He did have to boost, which again is a bit worrying on his part, seeing as, you know, it's only round 35. You know, we still have 5 more rounds to go before he's actually in the clear. And of course, I have to rush him since I lost 3 lives in the beginning of the game. Just kind of looking at this defense, it's actually like kind of cool, just like kind of watching him just like defend. He's doing surprisingly well on round 35, and the ramping at this point is absolutely insane. The only reason I'm able to pop any of the Moabs at this point is simply just because main Moab and Ice Impale just stun and slow and say no to everything. He's even like tech terroring in the back, which is again pretty nice to see. It does make me want to use Super Monkeys, but I guess coming up with a strategy that utilizes Super Monkeys is kind of hard, seeing as Super Monkeys are definitely late game tower. If I had to pick one tower that just excels only at late game, well, not really only at late game, but it would definitely be Super Monkey. I decided to balloon boost on his side simply just because, you know, that Bad still hasn't popped, and he is struggling just kind of a bit. He's buying or selling Tech Terror, and of course he can't really do that indefinitely. So I assume that, you know, at this point he's out of money, seeing as, you know, I do believe he did sell some Dark Knights, because he only has like a few Dark Knights there. It's like only 3 Permabrew Dark Knights and Master Bombers to defend up to round 37. I kind of doubt that, but who knows. But that was a really good game and kind of fun to see that strategy kind of play out. I'm definitely going to steal that in the future. Now here, I wanted to try out a Ninja Alk strategy, and so the strategy I figured was Ninja Alk and Sniper. Why Ninja Alk Sniper? Well, of course I do want some form of ult eco, and I figured that Sniper would be pretty good combined with Ninja. I was thinking, you know, maybe Druid, as, you know, Druid does have some pretty good tier 5s, but then I thought about it and was like, I do think Sniper would probably be better simply because you have Cripple Moab. I think that's really just kind of the thing that set me over was, of course, you know, Cripple Moab. And of course, Bouncing Bullets plus Alk buff is still actually pretty good. And so going for a Ninja Star here, which is actually surprisingly easy, just kind of a 201 into, of course, a double shot for round 5. Of course, I think you do need Alchemist by round 5, which is a bit hard to manage. I'm not really sure how most people are able to afford stronger stim by round 5. I am not really too, you know, kind of versed in Ninja Alk strategies, but I am willing to learn a bit more about them. Sniper also helps out for round 13 if you don't really know. Well, I guess I'll let you in a little secret. Ninja Alk on its own cannot defend all out round 13. I have tried to do that, but it just can't. It was actually kind of surprising seeing as I figured out, you know, Ninja Alk could probably defend all the way up to, I guess, kind of Moabs. but Ninja Alk does have a weakness to round 13 and probably to round 16 ceramics as well, regen ceramics as well. So I guess if you're up against Ninja Alk, you know, try some regen rainbows or regen ceramics. They will have a tough time defending, especially on like on a short map like Glade or Quarter or something. And of course, that's where Bouncing Bullets comes in. Bouncing Bullets, I feel like, does surprisingly well against, you know, just kind of group balloons. So of course, I figured, you know, why not incorporate it. So it's kind of a strategy that utilizes pretty much everything. Everything synergizes with each other. Grandmaster does a couple synergy with Cripple Moab, and of course, you know, Alchemist synergizes with Ninja and Sniper really well. I guess kind of bottom path is maybe the only path that's not really too useful, like bottom path Sniper. Can't really figure out how to use for Elite Defender. I'm not really sure like what kind of rushes you would use that for, or even like which cross path you would actually want to go for. I do feel like, you know, like 205 is good for straight up Moab damage, but of course 025 Elite Defender is good for, I guess, kind of grouped balloons. But I do feel like Ninja can handle group balloons kind of on its own. But of course Ninja also has pretty good Moab damage with Master Bomber, so I don't really feel like Elite Defender is really too useful in, I guess, just kind of sniper strategies, but who knows, maybe I'm wrong. Skipping forward to round 12, I'm kind of screwed as seeing as I don't even have started on my Bouncing Bullets yet, and you know, regen rainbows are definitely going to screw me over next round. Thankfully, he was a bit late on, I guess, sending them. Actually, he didn't even send any at all, so I guess it was kind of good on my part, but I still did want to get Bouncing Bullets, so I was kind of going a bit light on the greens, just in case, you know, he did end up sending some regen rainbows my way. Now this guy's going old meta with being Druid sub and of course Ninja being his, you know, third tower. He hasn't revealed that yet, but it's just kind of what you'll see later on. Kind of interesting seeing as, you know, I haven't really seen people going for Druid sub Ninja, and I'm kind of wondering, like, you know, after the Druid eco nerfs, was Druid sub Ninja or Druid sub Ice really that bad? I feel like it still was a pretty good strategy. It just was, you know, you did have to, I guess, just be a bit more careful since, you know, the Druid alt eco, of course, isn't as efficient. He ends up sending some regen rainbows with leads later underneath. Now he did the kind of the rush order, and I guess just kind of in a kind of the wrong order. You're supposed to do leads, then rainbows, then of course purples on top. That's to get the best amount of layering. As you saw, the rainbows were so much faster than the leads that they didn't really layer on top of each other. So just something to keep in mind if you do kind of rush like that. So I guess it was kind of a small rush. Did end up boosting, but I didn't really have to, seeing as, you know, Bouncing Bullets Alk buff and Ninja Alk was able to take that out with relative ease. Not even sure if Bouncing Bullets was Alk buff, seeing as, you know, I think tier 3 Alk buff is really only meant for buffing one tower, and of course tier 4 is good at buffing, you know, multiple towers. And so that's just kind of my take on that. Now of course, since this is Ninja Alk, I don't really have to worry about Moabs as much. I can just go full on yellows and still just kind of full on eco and not have to worry about, you know, risking like getting rushed when I get my supply drop. The only thing I really have to worry about really now is, you know, ceramics, but I feel like, you know, supply drop and of course Ninja Alk should be easily able to take that down. Hopefully, if not, we always have Opens Brambles as backup, so hopefully that actually works against that rush. I haven't actually tried out this strategy too often. It was just kind of something I did on a whim. I decided to send him a mob, seeing as, you know, I figured his mob defense was kind of meh, not really the best, so I figured he probably needs to get something down at least in order to being able to defend this. He sends, you know, some fortified mobs my way. I was kind of worried about this one here, seeing as, you know, it's 3 in a row and I don't really have, you know, the greatest mob defense. I'm not really sure how good, you know, Ninja Alk would be at defending, you know, multiple mobs. You see, I was kind of panicking, and seeing as, you know, I haven't really just used this too much, but thankfully 2 Bloon Jitsus was easily able to beat 3 consecutive fortified Moabs. So in response, I decided to send him a fortified Moab his way, and looking at that, you know, it's kind of bad. He ends up getting a ninja in the back, you know, just in case. He ends up getting a flash bomb, which is kind of interesting, because at this point, he doesn't really need sticky bomb. He needs, like, Bloon Jitsu in order to defend this. But thankfully, he's able to, with the help of course, flash bomb. So I guess I was kind of proven wrong at that one. I guess the stun, that did help him beat those fortified ceramics, which he was kind of scared about. His mob damage was fine. Just his ceramic damage, he just kind of has none. And kind of looking at this, it's kind of like kind of crazy to like look at this and see, you know, that the I guess alt eco nerf from Druid really did, you know, do a number on it. He only has like 4 by the time of round 21, which isn't really kind of the best. I do think you can get so much more before the Druid nerf, so I guess that's maybe why people don't use it anymore. But I still do think that Druid is a pretty decent tower still. It's kind of a shame that, you know, people kind of abandon a tower once it gets nerfed, except for Dartlink's case, because Dartlink's just kind of good all overall, but I don't really get into that too much. Hopefully, like a year from now, Battles 2 will be balanced to the point to where every tower is seeing use, not just kind of dartling in every single strategy. Now at this point, it's round 22, I figured I'd send him Hey ZOMG simply just because, you know, if he saw the fortified Moab, I don't think he would, well, I do think he'd be able to defend this, but he just had to spend a lot more. And I didn't really want to go to DDTs this game, or go to Bads this game, simply just because this is only tier 4 max since this is White Wasteland, and, you know, I guess his tier 4s can also do struggle against, Bads, but he does have first strike, and that, of course I don't, so he does have a bad defense, so I was probably advantageous to actually, you know, rush this round. He does, and I do end up bloom boosting against him. He does end up struggling to these Moabs. It's a long line of Moabs he has to end up popping, which he isn't able to pop in time. So GG there, and nice seeing that, you know, some old meta still kind of being used. It would kind of be fun to see an Alcatak village player still. Or a Dartling Ninja sniper player, but I don't think we'll probably kind of see that anytime soon. So if you enjoyed the video, you know, like, comment, subscribe, join Discord. Link is down in the description below.